This episode of Static is brought to you by Red Dirt Brothers Guitars. I'm George Lang, and this is Static. My guest today, the Bart Crow Band, hail from Austin, Texas. A couple of years ago, they released their debut CD, Finally, and it spent 5 consecutive weeks at the top of the Lone Star music charts. Their latest CD is called Desperate Hearts, and they're currently working on a new one in Nashville. With Paul Russell on lead guitar, this is the Bart Crow Band.
Music really revolved around my entire life. Growing up, my dad was in a band, so I was exposed to a lot of music at a very, very young age. You know, from country to what is now considered classic rock to, the southern rock stuff, and it was great. You know, when I was a young kid, my sister would babysit me during the summertime when my parents would be at work, and her and I would always have talent shows and just listen to records and just sing all day. I mean, they're just weeks at a time. We did nothing but jump on the trampoline, come inside, do a concert. That was pretty much our routine. You know, my parents had things they wanted me to do, and I had dreams and thoughts of things that I wanted to do as well, but then when it really became the reality of, hey, I'm graduating, it's just like, man, I don't really know what I want to do. And a couple of buddies that were a year older than me, the summer before, had just out of nowhere, the 3 of them went and signed up for the military, and they went. And I just really thought that was really cool. It was a cool thing that they did. And before that, I'd never considered it. And so I did the same thing and went and joined the Army for 3 years right after high school. My mother had bought my dad hadn't played guitar in 10 or 15 years, and so she thought if she bought him an acoustic guitar, he'd kind of start playing again. And he never did. He didn't really care for it. So I went home on one trip from Georgia and just took the guitar back with me and bought a Mel Bay's Book of Chords and the Robert Earl Keen Songbook, and that's where it all just relentlessly played, like the obsessed, annoying guy playing the out-of-tune guitar in the barracks. But I did it for hours and hours and hours, and then once I learned, 4 or 5 chords, then it was like, okay, time to start listening to records and playing all these songs. So yeah, I just always remember gravitating towards more of that rock and roll stuff, when I'd go to work with my dad, and he owned a construction company, so when he'd be checking on the jobs, I'd sit in the truck and just listen to tapes, and it was always like Stevie Ray Vaughan and the Rolling. I remember when he bought the Jumpin' Jack Flash tape, just because he wanted to learn one song off the tape. Well, then I got the whole tape, and I just listened to all this stuff. So now that we're playing music, I definitely see where all those seeds that were being planted back then very much come to head. No matter what I want to be or going to be, I'm always still rooted as a country boy that worked on a farm and a ranch all my entire, adolescence and childhood. And so there's no escaping that, and which is fine. I don't want to. But then I always loved the rock and roll more side of it.